What's up, college football fans? What is up, Clemson Tiger fans? Merry belated Christmas and happy early New Year. I hope everyone had an amazing and fantastic Christmas. Looking forward to 2023. I wanted to take a second here today, though, and do kind of a follow-up to the video that I posted a couple of weeks ago about players quitting on their team, or as some would call it, opting out of bowl games. And of course, I kind of targeted Myles Murphy in particular in that video, although it wasn't really about Myles Murphy. It just so happens that Myles Murphy, to my knowledge, is the first high-profile player to ever opt out of a bowl game ever since Dabo Swinney's been the head coach there. And I guess even before that, because opting out didn't used to be a thing. I mean, it just wasn't. I mean, over 10 years ago, like I said, Christian McCaffrey was the first high-profile player that I can remember who was going to be a high draft pick and was playing in a major bowl game. I believe that Stanford made the Rose Bowl that year, if I'm not mistaken. And McCaffrey sat out. Now, McCaffrey was battling injury. That may have had something to do with it. And the irony of that is he sat out the bowl game to protect himself from injury for the draft. And he's been injured virtually his entire career in the NFL. Listen, Christian McCaffrey's one. I'm a Panthers fan, so I'm not hating on Christian McCaffrey. He's one of my favorite players of all time. So, but anyway, it's been a trend ever since Christian McCaffrey. But some of you guys are new to the channel and you don't know that this is what I do every year, because I get the same reaction every year. It's, oh, why does this guy care about what these kids are doing? He doesn't care about the players. He only cares about his own entertainment. He's selfish, blah, 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 blah. Well, first of all, I don't really care. It doesn't affect my life in the least bit. It doesn't change my life one bit if a player sits out or 10 players sit out. But this is a college football channel. And I speak on college football related topics. And this is a big topic. And it's been a big topic for the past 10 years or so. So yeah, I speak on it every year. I know it rubs some people the wrong way. They don't like when I call players quitters. But that's what it is. You don't have to like it. But what I want to do today is kind of the opposite of sitting around and pointing fingers and calling people quitters. Let's be more positive today. Let's actually focus on the players who aren't quitting, because they're more important, right? Easy to sit around and complain about quitters. But let's focus on the guys who aren't quitting. All of the players, and I'm just going to talk about Clemson because I'm a Clemson fan right now. I'm going to move on to some other players in a minute, but all the players for Clemson who are going to enter the NFL draft this year and have decided not to opt out of the Orange Bowl against Tennessee, congratulations, I tip my cap to you. You're a real teammate. Because, like I mentioned in the last video, these players don't owe anything to us fans. I never claimed that they did. They don't owe anything to their coaches. They don't owe anything to the alumni base. They don't owe anything to anybody other than their teammates. There's a lot of guys on every single bowl team who this is going to be the last time they ever suit up in a pair of shoulder pads and a helmet. They're not going to the NFL. This will be the last game they ever play. And you know who I'm talking about, these seniors or these grad students or whoever, these kids who have run out of eligibility basically, and they're playing in their final game. That's who you owe it to, because they've been by your side all season long fighting with you on the football field. So congratulations, and again, I tip my cap to all of those players for Clemson and every other team who have decided not to quit. But I want to turn the page to one player in particular, and no, he is not a Clemson Tiger, but he is a very, very high-profile, Heisman caliber player. And that guy is none other than Bryce Young of the Alabama Crimson Tide. And I believe Will Anderson, the defensive player, has also said that he's not going to sit out the bowl game against Kansas State. I love this. And I love what Bryce Young said because he validates basically what I've been saying. Bryce Young said, and this isn't a quote, I'm sure you guys have all seen what he said in the in the press conference. I'm just going to paraphrase. And he basically said, look, man, there's no way I'm sitting out my last game of the season and the last game of my college career. I got one more chance to play with my brothers, and that's what I'm going to do. That's a teammate right there. That's a man right there. That is an unselfish man. That's a man move. Based on some of the things that some of you have been telling me in the comment section on my last video about Myles Murphy quitting, I guess Bryce Young's making a bad business decision, isn't he? Because that's all you've been telling me is sitting out to protect your body in one game, a meaningless game is what you call it, is a good business decision. So if you're a projected first-round pick, like both Bryce Young and Will Anderson are, and you decide not to sit out a meaningless bowl game, is that a bad business decision? Are you going to say that Bryce Young is dumb? Is he making a dumb move? I'm not. I think this may raise his draft stock. I can tell you this right now. It might not hurt Myles Murphy draft stock. Probably won't, actually, because there's going to be a team out there that wants Myles Murphy. And again, I'm not picking on Myles Murphy or any other player of his caliber who decides to opt out of a bowl game. There'll be some team that's going to go out there and get him, just like the Panthers did with Christian McCaffrey. But I can tell you right now, there will be teams. Not all teams and GMs and front offices in the NFL are alike. There will be teams that will look at Bryce Young and Will Anderson and say, you know what, this is a selfless player, just based on him not opting out of the game. And it may actually increase his draft stock. Maybe it won't, but there's a possibility that it will. And I hope it does too. I hope it becomes a trend that players that don't quit on their team at the end of the season receive some sort of reward for it in the draft. I hope that becomes a trend. But anyway, I'm happy to see it. And, typically during bowl season, I like for the SEC to lose their games because, well, you guys know the SEC fans run around beating the SEC drum all season long. And so it's funny to watch the SEC teams lose to other teams from other conferences in bowl season. I mean, it just is. In this case, I'm going to make an exception. I'm going to pull for Alabama in this game because I'm pulling for Bryce Young. I'm a Bryce Young fan now. So roll Tide, I guess, in this game against Kansas State. Nothing against Kansas State. Kansas State's a great story. They had a great season. They're the underdog, and everybody likes to cheer for the underdog and all that. I'm not even necessarily pulling for Alabama. I guess I am in a roundabout way because I'm pulling for Bryce Young and Will Anderson. That's who I'm pulling for. And they just happen to play for the Crimson Tide, so kudos to them. And not just them. I know you're going to say, well, this player's also not opting out. Pete, he's a first-round pick. I know there's a bunch of players around the country from all kinds of teams who have decided not to quit on their team, even though they're going to be a high draft pick. So I want to include all of them. I can't name all of their names. This will be a 30-minute video. But you know who they are. They know who they are. Congratulations to all of them. All right, guys. Have a good one. Your boy checking out.